Yo, what is up everybody? Slash here. Today we're going to be looking at the next tier list. We'll be diving into yellow. So, without further ado, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to do so. If you like the video, give it a like. Let's jump into it. So here we are. We have yellow. Now, let's start with a older yellow Frieza leader. I would have to say that this leader in general, it has some benefits to it. It's not the greatest one. It has some support. It's not too bad. But I think it'll have to go in meh. There's still a better Frieza leader, which is the next one here. So I would have to say this Golden Frieza is definitely the best Frieza leader at the moment. We don't know yet how the next one will be from the new set. But I would have to say this one is very, very, very good. So I'm going to put that right up in meta. I actually do believe it is more defining for its color because it can stand energy. And maybe some people find some good support from the new set that they can put into this to make it work better. But without regards, I would say the leader in general is very strong. You can restand energies. It has plenty of floodgates because of yellow itself. It is very good. Then we have the the classic Goku Ginyu leader. I remember running this deck back in the day. It was a lot of fun, but today it's not going to hold out. I would sadly probably have to put that into probably the top of trash. There is still better leaders out there. Like if you just play the green Ginyu itself, it's a lot more aggressive and you don't have to take your lives so heavily. Then we have yellow Gotenks. Now, this leader on itself, generically, is a very, very good leader. But the engine for it is very slow because you have to fill up your deck with all those Goten and Trunks cards. But in general, it's still a very good deck. I mean, I'm thinking about making a little video for this one itself anyway because I think it deserves a spot just to be in some local fun. Because I do believe it can be good at locals. And then we have Sin Shinron. I played the hell out of this deck. I absolutely love this deck. It's such a strong deck. Today, it lacks a bit of defense. And what I mean by that is like keeping your cards alive. Because there's so much removal at the moment that if you play your 8-drop or whatever you want to play, it's just going to get removed. But I think it's still a good deck. Can you go to locals and perform with it? Yeah, I think so. Will it hold up into competitive play? Probably not that much anymore. So I'm going to have to put that into locals good as well. But yeah, it'll be in front of Gotenks, that's for sure. Then we have the Gohan Icarus. Now, this deck got errated to shit. It was a stupidly strong deck. It was meta for quite a long time. But now you have to pay 1 energy to be able to draw and use its whole ability. So would it compete into competitive, good locals, meh? It's definitely not meta. I'm going to have to put it into meh, sadly. But it would be towards the top of meh for sure. Because you could still do something with it, but now having to pay the energy really does slow it down. Oh, and then we have Garlic Jr. Now this deck is actually pretty good in general. It has a good chain for itself. It's a very unique chain that it has. But I would have to say it's definitely not competitive. In general, it is pretty good. So I'm going to put that in locals good. It's got a very good combination where it can throw your opponent off balance because they're not really sure what they're versing. And a big shout out to 3 people in specific I want to give. It is number 1 is Jeffry. Thanks for your advice. It's some good recommendations. It's always good to hear a second opinion on leaders. And a shout out to the Lookout. Thanks for your help as well, checking out all these different leaders with me. And also to Espira, the man himself, for helping me give some input into the baby leaders. Because he is the man with those baby leaders. So we go next to Whis. Whis, it's okay. I mean, I remember people... no, I'm going to have to put that in trash. I do remember it started showing up at some point, and it was actually not too bad, but there was just no real defense for it. It wasn't that good of a deck. It just, yeah, like I've said in plenty of other videos, it doesn't do enough. And it is true. And then we have the next Frieza leader. This is the Frieza Resurrected. Sadly, it's not that good. It's honestly just a shoulder shrug. It's not that great. So I'm going to put that into meh. Might even go to trash, to be honest. But I think it's still not that bad, to be honest. Then we have the Future Gohan. This deck was very good for its time. And today you can still play with it locally, for sure. But is it good enough to be good locals? I mean, at the moment, because of some of the other leaders, I definitely think it would be very towards the back and might even go to meh. The whole idea of restanding your blockers was great for the Trunks, but it's such a slow engine, and the payoff for what you're paying to play isn't that great. So I'm going to have to put that into, for now, I'm going to go good locals, but towards the back, I think. And then we have 17-18. So this deck is actually very strong, and I hope someday they make some support for it. It is a very strong deck. You play your Android 16s, your 1 costs, and then you can rest your cards, and then you can play your either skillless 30Ks, you can play your, if you have your Unison, you're able to free combo and play your 15K 17 and 18s, which then can allow you to play even more 17 and 18s. And it is a very aggressive deck, but it really runs out of gas very quickly. There's no real good boss monster for the deck. There is a lot of chain, and if you just get rid of their Unison, it kind of just shuts the deck off in some way. But I think if you want to perform with it, I would have to say it would go to probably towards the top of meh. It has some very good aggressive cards in general, but it just lacks support at the moment, so I'm going to have to put it there. And then we have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, I remember when this deck first came out, people wanted it to be good. A lot of people tried building it, but it just didn't do enough. So I'm going to have to put that into meh as well. I think it would go ahead of this Frieza for sure. Super 17. Now, some people might hate me for this, but I built this deck. I played it for quite a while. It's pretty shit. I mean, if you play your first one, then you Union absorb onto your next one, and then you go to your biggest one. But if you just stop the middle chain, you have to reset the entire deck again. And it's so painful to do that. And you can't even play your final one until you have 4 or more energy. So you're just stalling the game for most of the game then. So yeah, I don't think it's worth playing. I would definitely go to meh. It's not that good. I mean, sure, you can add some just good generic yellow cards, but you can do that with a lot of other decks here too. It's not that good. The green one is much better. And then we have, this Gohan wasn't that good either. I would probably put that somewhere in between. Yellow Turtles, I prefer the green one. I think the green one was a lot better. It was more consistent. I do think the Turtles isn't too bad though, but I would definitely put that behind Icarus and the Goku as well, I think. Vegeta Trunks. Now, would this be meta, competitive, or good locals? So it's definitely better than good locals. It's probably not meta at the moment because Majin Vegeta is probably the best yellow deck at the moment. It just can do everything practically. I would have to say it would be competitive, but it would be at the very top of competitive. And then we have the Goku Rose. So I remember versing this deck at my locals with using Soul Striker. And I remember it was a very good deck, but you play a lot of stuff during your opponent's turn, which can be a bit of a nuisance for yourself, trying to flood your field and keep your stuff on field. So I think, yeah, good locals, you can definitely use it. Is it competitive anyway? No, sadly not. So I'm going to have to put that there. But it's still good enough to play. You can definitely play it. Then we have the Goku, the one where you play all those unisons and you keep switching between them. This deck was pretty good. It's a yellow Goku leader, which means you can use a lot of that new Saiyan support for yellow. So because of that, I will definitely put that up here for sure. It is a good deck in general. I would probably say it's better than Sin Shinron at the moment, just because of their yellow Saiyan support. And then we have some of the Piccolo leaders. So I actually want to put some of these side by side. I want to go through all three of these together. So I would have to say this version of the yellow Piccolo. This one was pretty good with drawing. You put cards under your leader. You can give it plus, I think it's like 5k, so it's got some extra defense. But playing your engine was just so easily removed. That was the whole problem with the whole Piccolo decks in general. They just didn't have very good defense. You play one, it gets removed, you have to restart again. You just lost an energy, now you're down a turn. So I would have to say this version would go into meh. Maybe maybe it could go to good locals. But the only problem is the other two Piccolos just do a much better job. So in that case, yes, this Piccolo is good locals, but these other two Piccolos do a better job. So we're going to put these ones higher for sure. Now we've got the orange Piccolo. This one, in my opinion, is the best yellow Piccolo leader. You can give your leader blocker and I think plus 10k. It draws very decently as well. It awakens easily. It is definitely the better choice. I'm going to put that into good locals. Probably ahead of Future Go. I think Future Gohan goes to the back. And Garlic Jr. as well can go towards the back. The Piccolo is definitely better. This one is also really good. I call this one the Piss Piccolo because he's just slightly urine colored. I'm going to have to say that this one is also very good, but you have to rely more on the entire engine, which can make it a bit more clunky if you're trying to add just good generic yellow cards as well to it. So I'm going to have to put this just behind the other Piccolo. Of course, they all vary, and I'd love to hear your comments below to tell me what you think, which one would be better and why. I read all the comments. I'd love to hear them. And then we have Bardock. So this Bardock actually draws very, very well. You can get cards in hand so quick. The damage overall, the output, is not that great in general. It's a lot of single hits. Of course, you can add some of the old ape support to it to give yourself like 20k double strikes and you can flood some of your field. But it is not that great. If they added some like generic one cost double strike that's 25k or something, like an evolve or something that's easy to play, then yeah, I would say it's a lot better. It is still a good deck though. I would definitely put this into good locals. It is worth giving a try if you have enough cards laying around to build it. Definitely give it a try. I would probably have to say as well, it would be better than Piccolo. We're going to end up moving these around a bit. I think Sin Shinron at the moment has to go further back. I think Sin would have to go somewhere here. Gotenks would go just behind it as well. There we go. That's a better look, I think. The Yellow Slug. This deck, it came out with just nothing, really. It wasn't good. We have, of course, the iconic Yellow Slug card himself, where you can't draw with your battle cards and stuff on the field. But the deck itself isn't that great. Could you take it to locals? Yes, it is a newer deck, so it still can perform better than a lot of these older ones. So I'm going to have to put that into good locals, but it would be definitely, I think, towards the back here. Then we have the Old Cooler. Now, this Meta Cooler, I remember when it came out, I built this, and it was a terrible deck. I built it, I played it maybe 5 times, and then I just left it in a deck box and never saw play again. So this one's definitely going to go into trash. It's not very good. Then we have the Old Cooler as well. This one is also trash. I definitely think the Ginyu here is the better one of all these trash so far. And probably Whis is a little bit higher too. And then we have the Chilled. This Chilled is garbage. It's just old. It doesn't do anything. The Vegeta Goku Vegito. Now this deck is very good. This deck I'm definitely going to put into competitive. This is a very strong deck. I would say Vegeta Trunks is probably still better, but the Vegeta Goku / Vegito, whatever you want to call him, this deck is still very, very strong. It draws a lot. It's got a lot of damage. It's more of a mid-range, long play game. It is a very strong deck. Then we have the Boo. Now this Boo is good, but it's so easy to remove the chain, just like the whole Super 17, and then you have to restart the whole thing again. And you're just going to run out of cards eventually, having to be able to replay your chain. I'm going to have to put this definitely into good locals, but it would be towards the back for sure. I think it's still better than Lord Slug. And then we have the new Vegeta Goku leader, another one. So I think this one is going to be very, very strong. I think Majin Vegeta may still be stronger, just because it does more things in general, what it can do. It can awaken quicker, it's got a nice 20k Z-Awaken leader, it draws a pretty good amount, you can remove everything on the field, ignoring barrier, except like unisons and fields and stuff like that, but battle cards in general. I think it's going to be a very strong deck, and you switch between Goku one turn and Vegeta the other turn kind of thing. But there's just so much yellow Saiyan support right now. You've got the Majin Vegeta, the 25k Servant card that's double strike. I mean, that already is super strong. You've got the Ultimate Duo, the 20k double strike. I mean, that's enough said, right? And then you're adding this new support with it too, where you take a life and you get like dual attack or double strike. This is definitely going to be a very strong leader. I'm going to put this for now, as we don't know how meta it will be. It's definitely going into competitive for sure. I think this is going to be a very strong deck. Then we have the next Frieza, the Frieza swap. I believe this is going to be a very good deck too. I'm unsure about how meta or competitive it will be. I think the goal, of course, without ban list, what we're looking at right now, if we don't see any yellow hits in the ban list, I think that the yellow Saiyans are still going to be up top, definitely. This Frieza, I'm going to put it just behind the Vegeta. Actually, I'm going to put it behind both of these, because Saiyan support. Then we have the Bardock. This leader, I remember tried playing it back in the day. It's not that good. I'm going to have to put that somewhere there. Same with this Goku Ape. This one is not a good leader. Then we have this Bardock. See, a lot of these great ape leaders, either one was like, put your cards to rest mode. The other one was like, KO a card in rest mode, or play a 3 cost. And it's okay, but you take your lives to do most of these things. It's okay, but it's not great. And then we have the Goku. I believe a lot of people use these for the lineage line. It's okay. It's not great. I mean, there was a better choice we'll get to later. The old Master Roshi. It's a fun deck, but it's not that good. We have the Frieza Wish. Now, this one was garbage. I remember back in the day, they had all these demo decks that you could pick up for free. And so I made like multiple accounts, and then I had like 7 of these decks. And tried building something with them, but it doesn't work. It's not that good. I'm going to put that in trash for sure. I would say these Bardock leaders are probably better than it. I'm unsure about the Whis, if it's better or not. Yeah, probably. I think this Frieza goes towards the back here. It's definitely better than these back contenders there. And then we have the Gohan. Now, this deck was not bad when it came out. It was actually pretty strong. But the cost for your cards is just so expensive, and there's just no real good defense for the deck. So I'm going to put that in meh. You could definitely still play it today, but it's just not going to be that great. I think the Trolls is definitely better than that deck right now. The Bojack. Now, this Bojack was actually pretty good. A lot of people really like the deck, but I don't think it's that good right now. Just looking at all these other things we already have up here, nah, I don't think so. So I'm going to put that in meh, but it will be ahead of... It will be just behind Icarus, I think. I think the Goku is still better. This hit, it's garbage. I don't care what you say. It's shit. It's not good. I'm going to put that there. We've got this Goku leader. I believe this one, you can only like awaken it 2 lives or something. It's got so much damage on it, but you don't draw with it. It's a GT, so you can't really use your Saiyan combinations that well with it. I'm going to have to put this into trash. It is very aggressive, and definitely if you think it's not, prove me wrong. I'd love to hear about it. And then we have the babies. Now, let's grab the other baby as well. Let's put them side by side. And shout out to Espira. He's definitely the man for this. He gave me some advice trying to figure out where was a better spot to put them. And definitely from the play that we've seen lately, I would definitely have to put this dual attacker first. This one's going to go right up here into good locals. It is a very good deck. And I'm going to put his comment somewhere here so you can see it. It definitely deserves its spot here. I'm going to put that probably... I think... Oh, man, it might even have to go somewhere here, actually. I mean, we see more play of it than all these other ones back here. And this baby is not as good. But I'm going to have to put that one probably somewhere here, to be honest. You'll be surprised. At 17 and 18, if you think you're a good player yourself, give it a try. Make a list with it. Honestly, give it a go. Because I think there is some potential with it today. We have the Jiren. This was the better Jiren leader. I would say that it has a lot of defense. You can constantly stop your opponent from attacking your field. If you flood your field enough, then you can play your big boss monster. There's no real good protection on them anymore, but it's still a pretty good defensive deck, but the output of damage isn't that great. If they made some like 15k dual attackers or even a 2-cost dual attacker, that would be great, but because it doesn't have it, it's going somewhere here. I would definitely put it probably there. Now we've got the newer meta cooler leader. So the green one is the better one in general that we have today. This was I remember like a remake of the old one. It's definitely better than the other ones, but it's still not as good as the green in general. So I'm going to put that somewhere here, I think. Super 13. Now, Super 13 is actually a very strong deck. Today it lacks the support that it needs to be able to thrive today. But it is still a very strong deck. I'm going to have to put that probably maybe towards the back. I mean, if Piccolo's there, then I'm going to have to put this here too, to be honest. I think that's a fair point. Then we have the Jiren where you give yourself, I think you have to remove like 9 cards or something. 9 universe cards from your drop. And then, or add them to your drop, something like that. And then you give yourself quadruple strike. It's not that good of a leader, to be honest. It sounds neat, but it's not that good. I'm going to put that probably somewhere in trash. I mean, trash doesn't really matter where we put it, to be honest, right? Topo. This leader is such a pain in the ass. I hate versing this leader. Of course, if you get rid of the unisons, the deck kind of shuts off a bit. But it is so easy to defend because you're yellow to be able to keep your unison alive. So I'm definitely going to put this into good locals. It is a very good deck. I would love to see some more support for this leader in general. I'm definitely going to put this probably, yeah, I would have to say, I mean, we see less play of it in the moment than some of these. I think I'm going to split the Piccolos here. Then we have the Mecha Frieza. It's kind of trash. Sadly, it's got an errata on it. It's just trash. I'm going to put that at the top of trash. Don't hate me for it. And then we have the Bardock. This is one of those other ones that could either KO and whatnot. It's okay. I mean, to be honest, the one that we have higher up is a way better choice. I'm going to put these down here. I believe that was a promo one. This Bardock is a way better in general. Definitely give it a try if you have the cards. This Goten, it's not good. It doesn't do very much. I'm going to put that back here. Then we have the Broly. Now, this Broly, I got some information from Jeffry. He actually was saying it's a pretty good leader in general. It was good back in the day, but it's pretty meh now. I mean, you can still play it and use its chain and that. You could take it to locals. I'm sure you can perform with it. But it's okay. It's okay. Like, if you went up in a match against, say, future Gohan, I think it would be quite an even match in that point. So they're definitely towards the back. Maybe we might even remove a big chunk of these and put them into meh. But I do think there are a lot of good yellow players out there, and they can definitely make a lot of these things work. I'm sure a lot of the older ones too, but these are just generically better, either because of the card's entire like archetype, it's just good, or because of the leader itself just being generically good. Like Topo, for example. And then we have the better version of the Goku lineage for the whole swap. I built this and I had it for such the longest time. I went from like 53 decks in general that I own, now down to 49. Pulled this apart finally. I just don't think that they're going to be making any support soon. And if they do, I'm going to be so annoyed. I think it is a pretty good deck, but the lineage support in general, it's just not good anymore. I'm going to have to put it into meh. I would probably say Icarus is still better. This is definitely better than these back ones here for sure. This Goku leader, you can have all the colors. It's not a good leader. I'm sorry, but it's not a good leader. I've tried making builds with it. I've played around with it. It is a yellow Goku, so of course you can use your ultimate duos and stuff like that, I believe. Unless it's specifically like a BR or something leader. It's okay, but it's not good. You can't awaken quick enough. If your opponent's front side is up and you're attacking with your leader, then you can't draw. Like, it's so stupid the way that they did that. I'm gonna have to put that into trash. It's not good. Babidi. Now, I thought at the time this was just good locals, and I was so convinced it was, but we have been seeing play of it, and I would say, it goes into competitive. It is a good deck. It has a lot of drawing from it, but I think, in my opinion, that it needs more Agents of Destruction, like Z battle cards and things like that. So I'm going to have to put that in back of competitive, though. Then we have this Goku. I absolutely hate this ape deck. It is so strong. I remember versing it in finals, and it was just 3 turns in a row where they play Shin, and they just keep adding their barrier blockers to their field, and eventually you're just cut off from being able to do anything. It is a very strong deck. I'm putting this in competitive. It earned its spot. It's a very, very strong deck. We still see it played today, and I really want to build that deck. Would I say it's better than these others? I think it is better than Babidi for sure. Frieza, I'm unsure. Because it's new, it may be very good for like a short time, and then people start to realize that maybe the support is better to put it into the other Golden Frieza. So, next we have Majin Vegeta. Now, this is a stupidly strong deck. I won't be surprised if we see some bans in it. It's going meta. He is a king. He's a prince, but he's an absolute king at the moment. That deck is so strong. Then we have this Goku as well. I remember it wasn't that good. I'm going to have to put that into top of trash. You can prove me wrong, obviously. Now, we've got the other Frieza. Now, this Frieza, it wasn't too bad, but it's just a bit of a disappointment, really. I'm going to have to put that into probably trash. I mean, maybe it goes to meh. Then we have the Jiren. This was the original one. This Jiren, it was okay, but the other one was better. We're going to put this in trash. I think it goes definitely ahead of these cards there. Jackie Chun. Now, hell yeah. Jackie Chun is such a good deck. It is so fun. It's so memey. I'm going to definitely put this into good locals. I think it deserves its spot. Is it better than Sin right now? Oh. Alright, let's be kind. Let's be kind. Let's put it there. I don't know if it deserves to be there, but I'm going to put it there. Then we have the Wish Piccolo. Now, I got told by some people as well, this is a very strong deck. Of course, it was one of the better Wish leaders in general. There were some better ones, but it was pretty good. I think we're going to have to put this into probably meh. It was one of the better Wish leaders, but it just doesn't play stuff good enough. There are just better choices out there right now, to be honest. It is still a good deck. You can perform with it today, for sure. But same with Super 13 or the 17-18. But there are just other decks that just do more and do a better job of what they're trying to do. So I think it definitely goes there. And then we have the Kaba Vegeta. Now, this deck sucks. It sucks completely. You can't use any good floodgates because you can only play your Universe 6 cards. So I'm going to put this into... I would put this at the back of meh, I think. Yeah, something like that. I think it's a pretty good way to look at it. So, would we move any of these things? Maybe... I think we would put Boo ahead of the Wish... or the Goku Rosé. Yeah, that's tricky. So, I would say... Vegeta Trunks was meta, but hear me out. I think it goes down to competitive now. Obviously, it won Worlds, so it's a very strong deck in general. but I think it does deserve to go down to meta now, just because Majin Vegeta does a better job in general. I do think Hell Goku does probably deserve... Yeah, Hellku probably goes higher. I think it would go good locals. I mean, if a lot of these other ones are there, then I definitely think it deserves to go higher as well. I'll probably put it ahead of... behind Lord Slug. I mean, Lord Slug actually kind of did a better job. It's a lot of 20k cards on field, which is very strong in general. Yeah, I think... Yeah, competitive for Vegeta Trunks? Not sure. But I think that's about it. So, if you haven't liked the video already, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. Peace.